Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to the AI Guide, where we're making AI human. What does that mean? Well, it means that we focus here on the human impact of what's happening with AI and all the exponential technologies that AI is enabling, like robotics, 3D printing, self-driving, and much, much more. So today, we're going to go back to our roots, and you're going to find out pretty quickly why. But just to recap why I started the AI Guide, it's to prepare people 18 to 34 for a radically different future that is highly automated and where the jobs are going to change. They're either going to change or they're going to be gone, and there will be both. So there's been a lot of articles just in the last week about a critical issue regarding AI, and that issue is there is a growing chorus of people across all disciplines advocating for rules to control AI. So the first thing that came to my attention was a video by The Guardian on YouTube. The Guardian is one of the more objective news sources in the world for English speakers, and they really try to give you the facts without being political one way or the other as much as possible. Nothing is completely objective, right? But they're certainly more objective than the mainstream media, whichever one that you probably watch. So The Guardian had a video about how they're now developing robots, the military, to fight wars. And what a profoundly bad idea this is. There's many reasons it's bad. But first, let's talk about what it is. So, you know Boston Dynamics dog. They are mounting machine guns on top of those things and sending them into, now this is not actually used in combat yet, but it will be very shortly. These robots are sent into situations where human beings are very likely to get killed, and the machine guns that they can carry are extremely powerful because these robots have 4 legs and are more stable than a 2-legged human. And they had a video of this thing cutting down enemies left and right. It was really striking. And here's the reason this is bad. It's bad because if you take the human equation out of war, then there's very little downside to it, short of nuclear war. So what do I mean by that comment? The main thing that holds people back from starting more wars than there are is knowing that human beings are going to get killed. Congress has to approve military action that's initiated by the president, and there's at least some awareness, even though it's an all-volunteer army, that this is going to put human beings in harm's way. So that really prevents knee-jerk reactions from escalating into conflict, armed conflict. So if you take the possibility of human beings being killed out of the equation because of AI-driven robots that have very advanced weapons mounted on them, then everything looks very different. Sure, you can prevent people from getting killed, and that's going to be the espoused rationale for this. But it also opens the door to stupid escalations of conflict that can escalate into something extremely unfortunate. Chemical warfare, biological warfare, nuclear warfare, stuff that we really don't want happening. So this is not just my opinion. They said that there were 70 AI companies that have penned an open letter trying to put a stop to what I just described. Now, to further augment this discussion, let's just take a look at AI article headlines from last week alone. And this is striking, particularly in the context of that Guardian video. So here's some of the headlines. Welcome to the Museum of the Future AI Apocalypse. A woman has opened a museum called the Misalignment Museum in San Francisco. It's a temporary exhibition about the future of artificial intelligence. And they say that they open it in San Francisco because it's ground zero for generative AI and chatbots and a lot of things. So I'm not going to read these articles, but the thing is titled Future AI Apocalypse. So you can read that article. It's in Wired magazine. Then the next one, a fake news frenzy, why GPT could be disastrous for truth in journalism. That's from The Guardian again. Next, AI is out of control, requires regulation, Duke AI researcher warns. So that is just a small slice of headlines from this week alone, including the Guardian video on YouTube that I mentioned. Here is what all this means, and it's what I have endeavored to warn you about from the beginning. There's another article that I didn't just read the title of that says exactly what I'm about to say. Technologists do not care about what they invent. Actually, it was that Guardian video where they said that. Again, let me repeat that so that it sinks in. It's extremely important. Technologists do not care what happens to people regarding the things that they invent. They don't care. They invent them because they're cool, because they want to be on the cutting edge, because they want to see what they can accomplish in their career. But there's little or no thought about what it means for human beings and the human impact. And every single one of those headlines, but most especially the one about robots being built for warfare, make it crystal clear that the statement I just said is objectively true. So there's only one way to fix this. If enough people, like the people in the article headlines that I mentioned, start saying this situation is about to get out of control, let's fix it now before it's too late. Our government representatives do respond to public pressure. Let me give you a few examples. The one great example is the assistance that was given to people during the COVID pandemic. When 20% of the population lost their jobs overnight, there was a huge outcry for help. And the response from the government was immediate. Why? Because enough people said something. Other examples, there will be a proposal in Congress to cut certain programs. Then there's a huge uproar, thousands and thousands of mails and phone calls, and they have floated what they call a trial balloon to see if people are going to react negatively. And when a massive negative reaction comes, they pull the idea. This is exactly how we, meaning you, can help bring AI sensible regulation. Now, do we want AI? Yes, we do. Why? Because there are many, many, many beneficial things that AI will bring. Breakthroughs in medicine, saving lives through self-driving, because virtually all car accidents are caused by human error. The same arguably could be said to be true of flying, but there's relatively few commercial airline plane crashes these days compared to the past. I'm talking 20, 30, 40 years ago. There were way more plane crashes than now. So there's undeniably good things that AI will do, but there's also undeniable risk that AI will introduce into the world that may not be acceptable. And limits can be put around that. For example, I didn't read this headline, but another headline is, the invention of ChatGPT sends European regulators back to the drawing board for AI regulation. What I'm about to say is also very well known. The pace of technology far outpaces the pace of government regulation because governments move slowly by design. We don't want governments typically doing rash things that have very bad consequences for a huge number of people. That's why the political process is designed to take time. Technology, of course, is not bound by that. So technological advancement is moving much, much, much faster than any attempt to regulate it. And that article headline proves it, what I'm saying. So we need enough people to write your congressperson, call your congressperson, whether it's Senate or House, the two branches of Congress, or the president. You can write the White House, but we need to do this to make sure that this idea of introducing robots in warfare has boundaries on it, so that this thing doesn't spin out of control, which in my opinion, it can. Every new technological advance introduced into warfare has been destabilizing originally. The biggest one being nuclear weapons. It was extremely destabilizing until there were multiple parties with enough warheads and enough time went by so that everyone realized it never makes sense to use these weapons. So the risk of nuclear warfare now is actually quite low, in my opinion. But AI is a brand new technology, and it's going to be very disruptive to warfare in the near term and destabilizing. So this is why we need to advocate for sensible regulation. And I think everyone who watches this channel knows that I am an advocate for sensible regulation where AI will be used to harm people. And that's why I started the AI Guide. So call your Congress people. I've given you a bunch of examples from just the last week about the need for regulation and rules regarding AI. If you disagree, leave comments, please. I love responding to comments. I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for tuning in. Click the links below. Get my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI, Short History of AI and Current Impact on 10 Different Industries. Takes only 2 hours to read that book. And then the other link, free resources, because within 3 short years, you're going to have to use AI at your job. So start learning something about it, more than what we're doing here in these videos. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you found this video provocative, and let's hear comments. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.